does it got more sand?
I don't know. It's all on me now. How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and today I bit off way more than I could chew.
And it all started with this, a $2 million McLaren P1 that was caught in one of the worst hurricanes to make landfall in the last 10 years. I bought this car to rebuild it, but quickly realized that it was in much worse condition than I thought. And even though McLaren would sell me parts, the prices were a little hard to swallow.
That came out too, without any sort of labor. This is parts alone, $753,391.62. You gotta add the 62 cents. And that means I have to save as much money as humanly possible. So today we're gonna find out if some parts I bought will fit this car. And I really hope they do, because nobody's ever done something like this before. But before we do that, we have to take off this entire front clamshell piece to see what's underneath and to see if I have to replace anything else, and I bet I do. All right, so welcome to the inside of a McLaren P1, at least inside the clamshell, at least under the hood. So everything here you see is one piece of carbon fiber, and that makes aligning everything super duper easy, but it also means that this is a very, very expensive piece, especially when you have damage like that, and that, and that, and generally right here and everywhere else in the car. So we're gonna take this apart, right, Jack?
Yeah, man. We're like McLaren techs at this point.
We sure are. Yep. Yep. Oh boy. Oh. Okay. I'm getting nervous.
I've never broken anything with this.
So we're gonna take this off, and we're gonna take off the hood, and then we're gonna find out where all the bolts are, because turns out I don't actually have a factory service manual for this car, so we have to figure it out ourselves.
We did that already once before. It was good. Oh, there we go. That's it.
It's not like it was expensive.
No.
It's not like that part over there that's being put on the junk pile was expensive. There aren't too many bolts here, but what I noticed is that when we took out this little panel for the trunk release, I found this. That's like petrified sand.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look under, look in there.
Oh boy, sweet. So yeah, I think we're gonna find a lot more of this. This was already cleaned, and look how dirty it is.
Rex?
Yeah, Rex. We're gonna have to dry ice clean this again.
Nah, bro.
Come on, man. Come on.
We don't have enough dry ice in the world for this car.
So now we have to take this clamshell off, and we have to take off a bunch of bolts on the bottom. But Jack found something, didn't you, Jack?
I found our favorite kind of adjustment tool, and it's not just Ferrari that uses them. McLaren uses them as well.
And what's that, Jack?
It's a stack of shims. I'm pretty sure there's like 5 right there.
Uh-huh.
So take a look.
So we're gonna go down here into the...
Oh, jeez.
Okay. I don't know if you guys could see that.
Yeah, right there. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can see.
Look at that. Those are shims on a $2 million car that were there from the factory. And that is to get all of the panel gaps to line up correctly. So...
They can't hate when we put them back.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. We're just gonna put washers, because that's how it went back.
We could use coins.
That's true.
You could use
holes.
coins.
Just punch a hole on there.
Yeah.
That's only like 2 quarters.
You know what it will do? It will add value, because now you're adding like $2 worth of quarters in there.
That's true.
You see, this is why I like working with you guys.
How does it got more sand?
I don't know. It's all on me now. Now somehow we have to have this off the car. And I don't know how we're going to do that because it seems like it's still attached in many places. Except we can't make out where those places are. So, yeah, this might be just clips. And if this is clips, then there's probably some bolts on here, and then we take this off. Working on a P1. Not really that hard. I shouldn't have said that. I really shouldn't have said that. Kids, don't try this on your P1. Did I just break this?
The clip tool.
I just broke the clip tool.
There it goes.
Aha! Sweet. So the clips are... Actually, the clips aren't broken. They're just stuck in here, so we can get them. We can get them out. But we got all these, and then they should come out. Oh, there's like 6 more. There we go. See? Look at that. That's the sound that the car's gonna make when we first start it up.
Give your back support here. Let me hold your hips. You got it? Yeah, you got it.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Guys, this is a family show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, you know, we've gotta...
I can't believe I just did that.
Got it. With only minor damage to the carbon. All right, now we're gonna pull this off, and there should be no more bolts, right, Jack?
Of course. Wait. Why is it stuck right there? Yeah. There. Rex, you pull from the center.
Oh, got it. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, just kidding.
Oop. There we go.
Wow. Yay.
He ain't got no teeth.
Oh. There you go.
Oh.
Got him.
Oh.
There's a headlight.
Oh my God.
Headlights are falling out.
Headlights are falling out.
Here. I'll grab the headlight. You hold the...
All right.
This hand.
All right.
Hold around it.
There we go. You got the headlight?
Yep.
You got the headlight on that side?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Hold it here.
Hold it.
I got you. Oh, it's like pouring headlight juice on me.
What do I do with my arms? Dude, that looks so cool. That looks awesome.
That's crazy.
That looks really cool.
It's leaking out of the plug.
Nice. We're gonna put these to the side.
Yeah.
We're gonna put those in the maybe pile. Would you take a look at that? I don't think anybody has ever gotten a look at a P1, at least not in this state. What you got there, buddy? Got a little sandcastle going?
It's like a shark's tooth, I think. Pretty sure.
Oh yeah?
No, just a leaf, but
Okay.
probably passed through a few of them. But yeah, it's got quite a bit of dirt still in there.
Nice. Don't throw that away. That could be useful.
This is true.
Okay.
For like sandbox or something that we can play.
For a
in.
sandbox, that's right.
Yeah.
So this says number 331. This is not chassis 331. I don't know what that is. This hasn't had anything replaced, so maybe they just didn't know what chassis was going on from the factory, which doesn't surprise me at all. But take a look at everything in here. It looks like it's in okay shape. I mean, everything's super corroded. See, all the steel components are just corroded. This is the horn. Here are the fans. But everything else seems like it's okay. All the water seal connectors, they are faring well. The non-water seal connectors, seen better days. But what we have to do is take all of this apart and then give it a good clean, and then she should be ready to go, right?
Yeah, just crank it right up, right?
Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to work on the interior because I know that there's even more corrosion behind the dashboard. So we got to remove that entire carbon fiber dashboard. Fun. Now it is painfully obvious to anyone watching that I need to save money on this car because everything in this car is super broken and super expensive. But thanks to today's sponsor, I don't have to worry about my purchases on the internet bursting a hole in my bank account like this car does because I use PayPal Honey.
Now, if you don't know what Honey is, you're missing out because it's the #1 shopping tool in America. It searches for promo codes on lots of your favorite websites, so you don't have to. And it's totally free. It works for the stuff you're already buying, and adding it to your browser is super simple. After it's set up, you can shop for video games, shoes, tools, food delivery, and anything else you can imagine, and Honey will find the best promo codes to apply to your cart. And here's a fun fact. When there's a coupon, Honey finds discounts of 18% on average, and it has over 100,000 5-star Google reviews. Now, don't just go to joinhoney.com. Go to joinhoney.com/Tavarish because each click helps support my channel. That's joinhoney.com/Tavarish. It's totally free and totally worth it. Go check it out right now.
All right, everyone, welcome to the inside of a McLaren P1. Now, this is sort of like a cooking show because I have already taken some stuff apart, and boy howdy, is it rusty in here. Now, there aren't too many things that can rust, but the things that can are making my life pretty miserable. Now, these are bolts, and those are rusted. They don't move. These are nuts. Those are rusted, and they can't move. And everything here, other than the rusted stuff, is carbon fiber, so it is like razor sharp. Here is what I'm talking about, and these guys are super rusty. This is super rusty, but I got one of these nuts out, and this can't come out because it is now just spinning. So, yep, that just spins. So I can't get these out because anytime I try to put a tool on here, it just spins because, of course, look at the rust. So I am gonna have to cut into this carbon fiber and well, hopefully not get too much of the carbon fiber. And hopefully I have a dashboard that isn't completely mangled at the end. There we go. That sounds expensive. Okay, that went right in my hand. There we go. Aha! Now we gotta grind this guy away, and hopefully that works. There's a lot of bolt to grind off.
You're cooking something.
I am cooking something. Why does it sound like welding? Haha! Look at that! All it took was several power tools, and it's almost, there we go, it's out! Look at that!
Easy peasy.
Perfect! And only minor damage. Jack, you think this just comes up?
It looks like it does. Maybe.
You want to give me those trim removal tools? Oh, you got the whole thing?
Yeah, that broke.
That's okay. The one plastic piece on this car, it breaks.
We can glue that back on. It already looks like it's been glued back on. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh no, that has been glued back on. Oh man.
That's OEM.
It came broken from the factory?
Yeah.
Why does everything just sound like it's gonna snap off? Down. All right. This is the instrument cluster binnacle and is held on by a bunch of little Torx, and they are completely 1000% rusted. So. Okay. Now we're going to leave that on for about 3 years, and then we can take off the bolts. Not really. Right now I'm cleaning out the insides of these little Allen socket cap screws. And Jack tells me that these are going to turn if only I adopt a positive attitude. Mm-hmm. So please hand me the tool.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay, we have the tool here.
You're not positive.
I have my positive attitude. Okay. So first positive attitude thing is that is this the right tool? It might be the wrong tool. I'm gonna go very, very slowly.
Hey, that's coming out.
What?
It is.
Okay, one came out. One's coming out.
Aha.
There we go. There we go, buddy. All right, so that was the easy one.
You're welcome.
Okay? I'm not saying thank you just yet. That was the easy one. Positive engagement, and then... Oh, look at that. This one's turning too. Okay. Look at that. Okay, I'm very positive. Very positive at this point. Nope. That might have just broken the tool. Okay. All right, so my positivity has run out. Jack, you want to try?
Sure. Aha!
Yeah!
Yay.
Look at that. Sweet!
There we go.
More bolts!
More rusty bolts.
Sweet.
On the back of plastic this time.
Awesome.
So those will definitely melt.
Absolutely. By P1 they said. It'll be fun, they said. Welcome everyone. So I figured out what my problem was. I probably did a little bit of damage to this dashboard, but it's okay because we're replacing a bunch of stuff anyway. There are two very small 8mm bolts that are right underneath here. They hold one bracket, and then this entire dashboard should come out as one piece. So wish me luck. Let's hope that's a real thing that I just said. So if my calculations are correct, this dashboard should come loose in a few seconds. I'm really glad I'm not claustrophobic. 2, 3. Should go up. There we go. My way.
Yo.
Yeah, my way.
Okay. Don't go any farther. I can't hold it.
Yeah. Oh, this is heavier than I thought. Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
Sweet. See, that wasn't that hard, you know? It's really not that hard. You just gotta make sure all the bolts are out. Just gotta make sure every single last salty bolt is out. Whew. Okay, so we are in the McLaren P1, and there's a lot more room for activities because the dash is out. And the dash was really, really easy to take out, other than the fact that it really wasn't. I didn't know what I was doing, and lots of sand got in my face and in my eyes. I was gonna say but that's just what happened. What's cool is that behind the dashboard, or rather, now that the dashboard's not here, you can see that all these things, the HVAC, the whatever this thing is, that is all from a 12C or a 650S, and that is all gettable. I can buy these things new because I need to buy everything new. The electrical connections here are way past it. Everything's corroded, but the brake pedal, the accelerator pedal, HVAC system, everything back here should be attainable, and it should be cheap. But right about now, I think we should look at some of the parts that I got to see if they'll actually fit my P1. I don't know if you guys knew this, but a few weeks ago, I went to the UK and found some parts for the P1, and here's what that looked like. And take a look at this. We have an incredible P1. Not just one, not just two, we got 3 and 4 over there. This one was actually yellow before it got this amazing purple paint job. It's not really a paint job though. This is an incredible carbon body. You can see the carbon right here underneath this flaky purple paint. And this one is also sort of like my car, except it hasn't been underwater. This has 200 miles on it. So this used to look exactly like my car, and now it looks way better. Now, behind this amazing purple P1 is an orange P1. So this one apparently has done more miles than all these other cars combined. This has just a few thousand miles, so it's not actually that high mileage, but these cars look amazing. Now this has given me lots and lots and lots of ideas about what color I should paint my car, about the spec of the car, about the spec of the wheels, and man, I am just in heaven right now. Now I have never experienced this many P1s. Actually, I've never even driven or ridden in a P1 before, but I got the chance to do this because of the owner of this car, and his name is Richard. So I wanted to introduce him.
You're right.
What's up, man?
Yeah. You get to see the purple, the K purple P1.
So it's called K purple?
K purple,
So that's wonderful. So this was an entire body that you got. It wasn't just like a paint job, right?
yeah, so originally this was yellow, and this was my dream car.
Yeah.
And then I saw an advert for a yellow car that had a purple body. And I thought, I really want the purple body, because if I was ordering from new, I would love to have a carbon purple P1. That was my dream. So to be able to do that now, and I didn't realise, meeting the guys at VE, I didn't realise it's actually quite easy to do. It's only 2 days to change the body.
Yeah, it takes no time at all.
Yeah.
Actually, it takes a little bit of time when you don't know what you're doing, when you don't know where all the bolts are. So that rear clamshell, it's a lot easier to take off when all the bolts are off.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
it makes interesting noises when the bolts aren't off. It's like bass boat flake in this paint. It's crazy, and you can just make out the herringbone weave that goes up the center of the car. It's really fantastic.
And I love this badge, because this is obviously in the...
Oh yeah, that badge is like, it's like painted on, right?
Yeah. And I think that was about an £18,000 option.
18,000 pounds. There's a badge floating around Fort Myers, Florida right now, and it belongs to a P1, and I don't know where it is. Now we are here in this wonderful workshop called V Engineering, and I was invited here not only by Richard, but also by Paul. And Paul is going to tell us a little bit about what they do over here, and hopefully how we can work together, right?
So V Engineering was set up by myself and Steve Spender. He's an ex-flying doctor. I'm after sales manager for Europe, and we were both there 10 years, so we lived and breathed all of these cars. The first thing that we wanted to do when we set up V Engineering was we wanted to support the cars much better from a cost of ownership point of view, availability point of view, and just actually offer the customers something much better. P1 is very special to us because when it was launched, it had a few issues, but given the complexity of the car, it did very, very well. One of the biggest things with the P1 at the moment is the battery.
What?
Always been a problem. So yeah, we lived all of those battery issues, taking batteries out of cars, sending them back to the manufacturer, and getting them refurbished and coming back, and it was about a year. So V Engineering has teamed up with the original guys that built this battery back in 2010. They all left, but they've all reformed. They've all come back together. And end of this year, we're going to be offering our own battery, which will be about 20% lighter than the original battery. It will discharge 150 horsepower for 2 minutes 52 seconds, whereas the original one did 2 minutes 30 seconds.
And then the Speedtail battery, which is the upgrade for one of these, how much does that discharge?
We think about 52 seconds it's going to last.
Yeah, because it's a physically smaller battery.
It's a physically smaller battery.
You get less range. Actually, do you know what your range would be?
We're looking around. We anticipate around about 15-16 miles on pure EV.
15 miles?
15 miles. The original was 10, so we
I mean, you'd be lucky to get 6 in this. Like
it was about 8 or 10, depending on how high up a hill you were going or whatever. So,
15. That's a commute. That's a commute in E mode.
But from our experience, no one's ever long in E mode in these cars anyway.
Okay. Well, our experience is about to change with my car because, oh boy, are we going to do some testing on that?
yeah, fantastic. Yeah, well, we'll help you out. Yeah.
Well, you actually have a battery in here, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
That looks kind of familiar. So, why isn't this like blown up and full of sediment and also sea creatures?
Well, this is a battery that's failed.
Okay.
In the classic way that P1 batteries do fail. All of those cells in that battery, regardless of a P1's age, were made in 2010. Okay. And when one of those little cells goes bad, it affects the whole battery, and the battery has to come out and it used to go back to the battery manufacturer. They would identify which cell was bad, and they would change one pack, and then they would have to do what's called charge balance it. So they would have to balance the whole charging level in the battery. Yeah. That procedure took about 1 month per battery, and that's why a lot of P1 owners were in this never-ending queue of getting their battery fixed. So battery technology has moved on massively in the last 13 years. That was lithium ion. We're actually our new battery is made of lithium ion sulfate.
So that's the new one you're developing,
that's a new
right?
one, yeah. That's just a mock-up at the moment. It will actually be slightly lower and slightly wider to get the centre of gravity down a bit lower. It will actually have a different cooling system in it. We'll be using an inert oil cooling system, which is commonplace on a lot of EV vehicles today, with a cooler running across the top of it. But it will be plug and play as much as we can. So it will have its own diagnostics and its own sort of management system, but that will link seamlessly into the existing hardware software of the P1. We wanted to make it as much reliability and serviceability as possible. Those are the two most important things. We didn't want any more power out of it, because there's a number of things on the P1 which are right on the limit, mainly the crown wheel and pinion in the gearbox. If you start altering stuff like that, you're probably going to run into gearbox issues. We only wanted a little bit lighter.
Engine, maybe that too.
Exactly. Yeah. So we just wanted it to be as serviceable as possible. So our battery pack, if it does experience a problem, you literally drop out the fuel tank, you drop out the battery, you change the pack that's affected, put the battery back in, charge it overnight, done, you're away.
Okay.
That's the big.
So one thing I noticed was that that is slightly smaller than that pack, but also it's the size of a carry-on if somebody were to take it on a plane, which I'm actually going on a plane in a few days. So I mean, we could just make this work. Not only are you developing a battery, you have a fix for the battery chargers, right? So
that's right.
Weird thing, but the battery chargers also fail.
They do, yes, yeah. The electronics and the boards and the hardware inside the chargers were right on the limit.
Like everything in McLaren. So do you have some chargers that we can look at?
Yes, we do. We've got two over here. Yeah.
So right next to a yellow P1, we have two P1 chargers. And these are how much from McLaren?
Last price we had was about £20,000 each.
Wonderful.
We send them away to the guys that do our batteries, and they can overhaul and put much better electronics in there for about £4,500.
So for $4,500, you can have something that isn't gonna just give you the red blinking light of death.
Exactly. And also, the existing charger will work with our new battery. Again, we didn't want to change the charger too much because of the originality of the car. So we wanted to keep the P1 battery charger, whole car, as original as possible.
Yeah.
We didn't want to reinvent it because we thought that would be taking away from the actual identity and character of the P1.
So what if somebody were to, let's say, just make it really, really cheap and use like a Toyota Corolla hybrid battery? Would that be a solution possibly? Like, what if it didn't need to make 150 horsepower for 2 minutes? What if we could do it for 1 minute?
I don't think it would happen. Yeah, for a start. I mean, it's cost us a lot of money to develop our battery. The benefits for the P1 in its residual value will be, quite considerable.
I think so. Yeah.
Because the P1 values have hung around the 1 million to 1.23 million mark for a long time. Purely because of the fear of the battery. Shock absorbers are another one. They're £10,000 a corner. We can get those refurbished for about £2,000 a corner. The hybrid drive assembly in this as well, which is another famous P1 weak point. The seals can leak. When they did leak, it was a new HDA plate, which was about £25,000. We changed just the seals in the plate, and that costs about £2,000.
All right, so 1/10 of the price.
Exactly.
One thing I think you guys could actually develop something is that these aren't exactly waterproof. So when there's a lot of rain,
yeah,
I feel like these should float. It's a carbon tub. Mine didn't float very well, so maybe mine could be, the first McLaren boat. I don't know. But dude, I am so excited because not only do you have solutions for everything that this P1 could have issues with, but it just makes this car so much more usable. And you, just like me, have an idea that these cars need to be driven. Like, these cars don't need to sit and just...
They do. Yeah, when they're... P1s that we see, when they're used and they're driven, they tend to behave themselves.
Yeah.
They don't dry out. You don't have any problems with them. The moment you start laying them up in hot garages for long periods of time, that's when seals dry out and leaks occur, and they don't like it. I actually personally think that they're kind of alive in a way. When all of those control units and electronics inside them, they don't talk to each other for a long time.
Yeah.
It's like your wife. You don't talk to her for a long time.
What happened?
Yeah, what happened? Yeah, so the cars that we see, not just P1s, 675s, 12Cs, even some Ferraris as well, when they're driven and they're used, they tend to be much, much better. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for showing me around your workshop and showing me what crazy projects you have. So we'll definitely stay in touch. We need to do something with that battery right there.
For sure. Thank you.
Awesome. This is what it looks like when it's actually running. Not covered in water. The wings coming up. That's so cool. And now the car is coming down. There we go. Look at that. So is this race mode or V mode?
This is V mode.
This is V mode. So this is something you guys developed.
Exactly. Yeah. This is halfway between full race mode and normal mode. Yeah. So we've got the rear wing fully deployed. We're dropped about 20 millimeters rather than 40 millimeters. We also tipped the car forward slightly to improve a little bit more downforce. This is the display that you get in race mode as well, which is more race focused.
That is so cool. I can't wait to see this on mine. Thank you so much, man. Ooh, I'm excited. So if you guys ever wanted to see what the back of a P1 dashboard looks like, this is it. Well, this is it plus a lot of corrosion. So this part is all aluminum, but everything else is either plastic, carbon fiber, or if you take a look at this, this is like styrofoam. It's so cool. These are actually the vents, and these are made, I guess, because they want to be lightweight, but like I've never seen a car have vents like this. Usually it's like corrugated plastic or material like that, but these are just styrofoam, and it's as light as can be, but it works. It absolutely works. What's cool about this though is that this part that is super corroded, I'm not going to use this part because I think in a crash or something where I'm going to need this to be as strong as possible, that's going to fail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it, and this is actually a 12C part. You can see the part number over here. It's, I don't know if you can make that out. See, this is upside down. It starts with an 11 right there. The 11 part number means that it's a P11 chassis code, which is the McLaren MP412C, 650S, 675. The 12, if you see a 12 part number, that means it's a P1, the 13 is a 570S, and the 14 is a 720S, and so on and so forth. I know I just got really geeky, but I don't care. I'm excited. I got this out of the car. So we also have the airbags. You have knee airbags right here. You have the driver's airbag, and then you have the passenger's airbag. All of those can be attained at the dealership for pretty cheap. I think they're like $200 each, because all of these airbags are from a company named Takata, and Takata was famous for having airbags that become grenades, and they throw shrapnel in your face. So that's not good. So there's a recall on every Takata airbag. This is one of the cars, so I can replace everything fairly cheaply, and everything back here I can replace fairly cheaply. And the way I can replace them is really cool. If you follow me right over here. Now, welcome to my collection of parts. Some of these are good, some of these are bad, and I'm going to show you which ones are which. Now, these are the P1 parts, and if you can see right here, these are absolutely identical, but they did not come from a P1. They came from a 600 LT, and I got these parts, these good parts, from AZ Cycle Parts. Definitely go check them out. Everything that I have here and all their links will be in the video description. These guys are awesome because they dismantle McLarens, Porsches, Ferraris, basically any exotic car, and even some non-exotic cars. They have an insane selection, and they know their stuff. So they got me all this stuff. This was all part of one lot. This is basically every module in the car. And the good thing about McLarens is that you can take a module that sounds like this and then replace it with an actual good module. Now, I just made that noise, and I actually want to know what it looks like underneath here, because it's still wet. Look at it. It's like it's still wet. There we go. All right.
Still got a lot of water coming out of there.
Yep. So, do you think that this is nice and usable?
Oh no.
No, you don't think so?
The salt water has done its job.
I'm just gonna rip this off.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah.
Ooh. So that's good. Now if we turn it over. Oh.
Is that a seashell?
Yep, it sure is. You want to eat it?
No, I'm good.
Okay. That's nasty. It's really bad. But good thing is we have a new one, and all we have to do to this is basically just reconnect it, and then it should work with a little bit of reprogramming. But this looks great. We have the Meridian amp. This is a new one, well, a new to me one, and this one this one was at the bottom of the ocean. But one thing I'm really excited about, and something that no one has done on a P1, is do something with a gauge cluster. So this is the original gauge cluster from a P1. and it has 3 LCD screens. This one's obviously past it. You can see that the salt and the sand is underneath the LCD screen. But what you might not know is that this is actually from an early 570S. And this is exactly the same part. Now, there are some slight differences. The USB port is in a different place in the 570S, but it has the same plug. And for all intents and purposes, it is the same part. Now, what I got is this. And this is also from AZ Cycle Parts. They got me a newer model 570S cluster, and this is all one LCD. And this should be around the same dimensions, but what's cool is that if you turn it all around, they have the same, try not to drop it, they have the same mounting points. So in theory, this should fit in the same way this fits up. And all we have to do is create some new software that nobody has ever done on a P1, and that's easy.
This is easy. It's
That's
all
easy.
bolt-ons.
That's
Come on.
it bolts on, and then you plug it in, and it's supposed to work,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's supposed to know what car it is.
Same plug, right?
So yeah, it's the same plug, but I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna cross that bridge when I get there. So that's one big thing, and that is a big project. I'm not sure if that's even gonna work, but I'm optimistic, and maybe some computer hackers. Do they call them hackers anymore?
Yeah, they're still hackers, right?
Are they hacker? Can you?
I'm a hacker.
You're a hacker?
Yeah, but different kind
No,
of
you're
hacker.
you're a hack. That's different.
Yeah, but I am a hack, which makes me a hacker.
So back here is another thing that I picked up from AZ Cycle Parts, and that is the rear subframe and then the front subframe. And let me try to open this up on camera since we're doing an unboxing. And would you take a look at it? This is a front subframe, and I believe this is from a 650S. And it is exactly the same as a P1. Has this little thing for the battery, has the negative battery terminal, even has a sensor or 2 or 3 or 4, but we're probably gonna have to not use those. But this is not corroded, and it's gonna bolt up exactly where we need it to bolt up. So I actually have installed one of these before on my 675 LT, and it wasn't really that hard. You just have to take out all the bolts, and then, I mean, that's really how you install anything,
You
right?
take bolts out.
You take
put
bolts out,
in.
you install the part, and you put bolts in, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's basic.
I'm good at this. Here is the thing I'm most excited about, and why you guys should definitely follow AZ Cycle Parts on Instagram and go to their eBay and find some parts for your car, because this is gonna save this project. Now, McLaren was gonna charge me $16,000 for a wiring harness. And I'd have to wait 3 months, and 3 months might mean 3 years, because McLaren, they're not really great at making parts quickly. But this is, well, these are ground straps, which are super useful, because mine are corroded. But this is an entire wiring harness from another McLaren. And what this is gonna do for this project is allow me to rewire the entire car. And what I'm gonna have to do with this is take apart every single plug, match it up to what I have in the P1, and then plug it in, and then hope things work. You have ECU plugs, you have fuse boxes, you got the big Chungus fuse box right here. Then you have grommets, you got wires and connectors, and everything is more or less intact. And I can't wait to put this in the car. This alone is probably gonna be like 1 to 2 weeks of just wiring work.
You see, that's crazy. Because I get excited about bad body damage, and you're looking at this mess over here of spaghetti, and you are really excited. That makes me scared.
Well, actually, it says it was made in October of 2014, so this should have been a 650S, which means that this and that were made at the exact same time. So, I mean, nobody's ever done this before, but it could be possible that this is the exact same wiring harness, and then we just have to reroute it.
That'd be awesome. That'd be really good.
That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. 100% it's not gonna happen, but whatever, we'll see. Okay.
Hey, what is that?
What?
That's
This?
Is that like an exhaust hanger?
Jack,
That looks like a tiny exhaust hanger.
will you marry me? It fits. Alright, let's see if this other side has it. I don't think so. Right? Because can't pop. Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, that one smells.
They both smell.
Oh! Awesome.